Way back in the mists of time, still even available on YouTube, you can actually find the Eurosceptics, or the Brexiteers as they were to become known as, talking about what they wanted to do to the UK economy. What did they want to do to the UK economy? Well, they wanted to deregulate it. They wanted to lower taxes. They wanted to become the Singapore on the Thames. They wanted to let the UK's financial institutions run free and wild and cause all kinds of economic mayhem. They even said that these low interest rates were bad because it creates zombie companies who then somehow limp on while being and existing as a company while having low interest rates. And we've talked about their bizarre view of what a zombie company is and what that sort of means to the economy before. But today, I've sort of really come to the sort of the realization. I think a lot of people are coming to this realization as well, that what you see here happening today is what we've talked about going all the way back to 2016. Because what have we always said for years? When Brexit meets reality, reality always wins. Sometimes in an absolutely fantabulous way, like we have seen, well, I think today. Because who's behind all this? And I think it makes sense when you look at the big picture. But before we get into the big picture, like I say, guys, remember to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, Patreon page, one-off donation link, buy me coffee. You know the rest by now. YouTube thank you button, YouTube subscription to join the Pony Club. You get bells, whistles, all the rest. Good stuff. Let's crack on. So, big picture. Since 2016, the Brexiteers have never, ever been happy. And we've talked continuously about them, how they have been the ultra revolutionaries pushing, ever driving forward Brexit. To them, I'm not sure. It's Alexa. Brexit was never enough. It always had to be more. Always, constantly pushing for more and more extreme versions. Theresa May's Brexit wasn't good enough. Boris Johnson's Brexit was good, but then it just wasn't Brexity enough. And now we get into a situation where they are still saying we still haven't properly achieved the true Brexit goals. And that is about creating this low tax, low regulation economy that they want to create. And and honestly, if they had been honest about that in 2016, wanting to create that type of economy, indeed, only Patrick Minford was the only economist out there telling people the honest truth about, well, what Brexit really was about. And because of this, they constantly pushed forward a timeline of what they wanted. It was never enough. They always wanted more. And we've talked about how you can look back through history, other revolutions, it's always the extremists who end up pushing revolutions further and further and further. And now, well, as we've said before, the ERG control 88, I think it's like 80% of like governmental positions. Liz Truss is surrounded by Brexit ultras in cabinet positions and by advisors from the very think tanks who for years have funded this Eurosceptic, right-wing, libertarian, free market nonsense. And what you have had today from the mini budget is essentially this entire Brexit ethos, this fantasy economics that they've been obsessed with for years. They've finally got the people they want to put forward their ideas. And what has happened? Brexit has met reality. And reality hasn't acted well. But this is a slow car crash in the making. Because who are the most ardent defenders of this mini budget? Well, it's the Brexit ultras. They're all out there saying, "Oh, this is fine. Yeah, we knew there was going to be, the pound was going to crash, but don't worry, guys. That's all part of the plan. You weren't saying that in 2016, you know." And yet they push forward with this idea and even promoting that this budget is the very culmination of Brexit. That doing Brexit was the point of this budget, so that no one could get in the way, so they could push forward what they wanted. And ultimately, today, you've got Brexit essentially failing on a massive scale. Potentially, we're looking at a housing market crash and potentially a pound sterling crash. The pound could very well reach parity with the dollar. It may be in the next couple of weeks, may happen in the next couple of days. It's been losing a lot of value. It's gone from $1.17 to $1.07 in just a month. That is not a good economy. But this is the fantasy economics that these Brexit ultras have been pushing for years. And now they're finally in charge. They're pushing forward their crazy nonsense. Well, what did we say at the beginning? When Brexit meets reality, reality always wins. And that is what we are seeing in action at the moment. Essentially, Brexit is literally right up against the wall of reality and can't understand why they can't move forward. It's because they're walked straight into a brick wall, despite the many warnings and many people warning them and advising them, telling them, hey, if you continue walking in the direction, if you do this, you will crash into a wall. And what has happened? Well, they've crashed into a wall. And make no mistake, this is a Brexit budget. It is a Brexit crisis, and it is adding to our other crises that we are facing here in the UK. What more do you want to say about this? But yeah, we are seeing Brexit truly and fail right before our eyes. And if they can't succeed here, which, well, reality is already saying that no, you can't succeed with your crazy fantasy economics, what other damage are they going to do in the meantime to try and prove that their fantasy ridiculousness works? They can do a lot of damage in a very short time. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, we'll see you all next time.